Hi guys, Mark here. Well, we're here today at Poole Moto here in the south of England, and today we're going to be taking out the Voge Rally 300. Stay tuned. Well, hi there guys, Mark here, and welcome today to a review on the Voge Rally 300. So let's just take a look round it and run through the specifications, go for a little test ride, do a little bit of off-roading on some light tracks, and then finish off with the final thoughts at the end. So price on these, they're coming in at £3,799 plus the on the road, which I think is quite reasonable. These are currently being imported into the UK by Moto GB. So the engine is a 292cc, 28 horsepower at 9,000 RPM. It's a single cylinder, 4-stroke, liquid cooled 4-valve. And torque is 25 Newton meters at 6,500 RPM. So when I first saw this bike this morning, it was like, oh wow, that is huge. It's a physically big bike, 920 millimeters of seat here. It's a very, very comfortable seat. I've been on it for over an hour, no problems at all with the comfort. It's quite narrow at the front there, so you can get your legs down, but it is a tall bike. You know, I'm 5'7" tall, 170 centimeters, and I'm pretty much on tiptoes. The suspension does sink down quite a bit when you get on it, but all in all, it is a tall bike. Just have a look at me on the bike, so then you can compare that for yourself. Weight on these, not too bad at all, 158 kilos ready to ride. It's got an 11-litre fuel tank, not huge, but these are very economical, these sort of 300cc singles. You should get around about 75, 80 to a gallon, I would have thought. It's going to give you a range of about 150 miles. So nice big 21-inch wheel up front for going over the rough stuff. Tyres are by Timson. Got a 3-inch on the front there. 21-inch I said. And an 18-inch wheel on the back there with a decent knobbly tread pattern for off-road stuff. So if you don't know already, Voge are a subsidiary of Lonsin. And Lonsin work with BMW. They make like the engine for the F750 GS. So it's a good proven company, Lonsin. They make good engines. So I'd say this is going to be pitching up against Honda's CRF 300 Rally, which is quite a lot more expensive at £6,500. Nice that you get like handguards, screen, crash protection, engine bars, a little bit of a sort of a sump guard under the engine there. It's got a reverse LCD screen, standard halogen bulbs there, LED indicators and LED rear light. So up front on the suspension, long travel suspension there, upside down forks, non-adjustable, but really nice compliant plush ride for the road and good off-road as well. Tucked up in there, we've got a preload adjustable single shock as well. Single disc up front with a 2-piston sliding caliper and a single disc at the rear with a single piston caliper. So you've got a big ground clearance on these, 280mm ground clearance there. Top speed on these are around about 75 miles an hour. They come in this sort of silver black, a yellow and a blue. Okay guys, let's go for the test ride, shall we? Voge Rally 300. Let's try this out. So it's a tall bike, 920mm, and I'm pretty much on tiptoes riding this, but once you sit on it, the suspension does sink down quite a bit, so it's not so bad. And the saving grace is it is very, very light with nice wide bars for control. So just going to run through all the cockpit here. So we have non-adjustable for span, cable clutch and front brake lever. You have your sort of generic looking switch gear that you see on so many of these bikes these days. Flasher, high and low beam indicators and horn. Over here, kill switch and start. No electronic suspension on this bike, nothing really flashy, but that's the beauty of something like this, just keep it nice and simple. So we have a reverse LCD dash there, small but perfectly formed, showing miles an hour, revs, trip, odometer, gear position, neutral, engine warning lights, all that sort of stuff there, and you can obviously change it to Odo. You've got a convenient USB there as well. Let's start her up. And one thing I noticed about this bike when I started it up for the first time this morning, it's got a really good exhaust note. It's got a lovely single cylinder sort of brap to it, so that's good. So easily into first, and away we go. Out on the open road on the Voge Rally 300. So mirrors are nice and big, pretty clear. I can see a little bit of my elbows, a little bit of vibration through them from its single cylinder engine, but all in all a good clear picture behind. So a little dinky screen up the front there, it's giving me a little bit of wind protection. You can just feel it coming off. So cruising along here at a nice sort of easy 55. It's all very relaxing, nice sort of steady air in front of me here, hand guards keeping the wind off my hands. So that's all good. So reverse LCD display there, not renowned for being brilliant in direct sunlight, but at the moment I can see that absolutely fine. 55 mile an hour, 6,000 RPM, 6 gear, absolutely fine. So being an adventure style bike, off-road style, very, very upright position, super comfortable, big wide bars. The steering feels super light, even though it's got a big 21-inch front wheel. It's very direct input from the bars, so that's good. Loads and loads of leg room, so if you were a 6-foot guy, you'd have no problem with this at all. So far the standout feature on this bike that I've really liked is the suspension. It's extremely plush. I'm going to try it off-road in a bit, but just on all these bumps on these sort of roads around Dorset where I live, it's just floating over them. It's a very, very comfortable ride. Non-adjustable front forks, preload at the rear. So what's the Voge like on light tracks and trails? Well, let's try it out. So this is quite a loose, very, very dry track at the moment. Haven't had much rain in the UK for a while. I'm standing out the seat at the moment, and it's very, very controlled. Nice wide bars. Feeling very nice to control that. You can turn the ABS off if you want to. Into third gear now. Plenty of low RPM pull. Just drop it down to second. I must say that I've been on this bike this morning for about an hour. The suspension is very good. It's long travel, very, very plush. Gives a very good ride. I must admit, standing up out the saddle feels great. Sitting down, all these sort of bumps down here. It's giving a very, very smooth, almost magic carpet sort of ride. The Timson sort of semi-knobbly tyres feel good. Just down to second now, just open it up a bit. Into third. Standing up again. Nice control standing up. It does feel very safe and composed and sure-footed off-road for this sort of type of trail and track. So yeah, if you're looking to buy the Voge for a bit of a soft roading, as they call it, light off-roading, this is absolutely fine. This is really nice. Big 21-inch front wheel, making mincemeat of all this rough stuff. Long travel front suspension, nice sort of gutsy single-cylinder engine with ample power. Yeah, absolutely fine for off-roading, I would say. So we'll just try a little roll on. So we're down to 5th gear, 40 mile an hour, wide open. As you can see, it pulls decent enough. About 28 horsepower claimed, top speed of 75 mile an hour. But around about this sort of speed at the moment is where it's happiest. Sort of 55, 60 is the sweet spot on this bike. Overall, ride quality, ride feeling, very good. You know, for its price point of 3799, you know, it's definitely at the budget end of the biking market, but it all feels well screwed together. It's a good ride quality. Suspension feels great, as I said. Round the bends, the semi-knobbly tyres feel fine. You know, you can feel a little bit of movement in the tread pattern if you sort of push it, but absolutely fine for general riding like this. So we'll just try out the brakes, front and rear together. ABS kicking in there, and not too bad at all. Not amazing, but more than adequate for this sort of performance. 2nd gear, just winding it out through that mid-range. 5, 6, 7, into 5th, and then up into 6th gear, which drops the revs down nicely. So at this sort of speed, 60 miles an hour, a little bit of buzzing coming from the bars and the pegs. Nothing untoward, is what you would expect really from a single cylinder engine that's buzzing away at sort of 6,000–7,000 RPM. All the switch gear is all very, very simple. It's the standard sort of generic stuff that you see on a lot of these Chinese bikes, but it's all nice and easy to use. Well, I think if you'd probably buy this bike if you were looking to do definitely some off-roading on byways, tracks and trails, that sort of stuff. More than capable of that. It looks good. It's a physically big bike, so if you're a tall guy looking for a bike to fit you just for pottering around on, even, you know, it'd make a good sort of winter bike really, with its sort of semi-knobbly tyres going out in the bad conditions. But just riding around like this, it's very, very pleasurable. The back brake on its own has got a decent amount of bite there, and the front moderate amount of dive there in the front forks, but nothing untoward. We're just coming to a 30 limit now. Little town just to check the fueling on the Voge 300. Currently in 4th gear, just trickling along at 4,000 revs, 26–27 mile an hour. So yeah, fueling feels fine to me. Throttle response, very, very soft and mellow, nothing sharp about that, so that's good. It's not going to catch you out. So yeah, it's just purring along really nicely. And the good thing is it's a very tall bike, big bars, very upright, so you get a fantastic view of the surroundings. So all in all, very good bike for town. Engine smooth, tractable, pulls well from low RPMs, and it feels very, very light and manoeuvrable. Let's just drop it down. Second gear, 15 mile an hour, and again, that's all very, very easy. Excellent. So the Voge 300 is perfectly well mannered through town. Coming out of town now, just opening it up through 4th gear into 5th and into top gear 6th. It's got a very, very smooth clutch, and the gearbox is very, very slick and precise considering it's a brand new bike. So far guys, been very impressed with this. I think, as I said, if you're after a sort of an adventure style bike which is got a good presence, off-road capable, cheap to run, very cheap to run, probably 80 to the gallon, and you like this sort of style of bike, off-road style, definitely give one of these a look. Let's say we're buzzing along now, 60 miles an hour, just doing just under 7,000 RPM, but about sort of 55, 60s, it's happy place really. So it will do 75 flat out, but I love the suspension on it, it's very comfortable, and the seat as well. It's got a rack at the back as well, you could fit a sort of a jivvy plate to that for a top box. Right, let's just drop it down to 5th, 40 miles an hour. Let's just open it up a bit in 5th gear. So there's your 50, and quickly up to about 55. So it pulls pretty well for a single cylinder. It makes an absolutely brilliant noise, and sometimes on the overrun you get some nice pops and crackles. Let's wrap it up down here and have a look round. Yeah, brakes are bedding in nicely now, that's good. Gearbox is really slick, and I'm on tiptoes. So we're in 1st gear, easily into neutral, into 1st, back into neutral. Have a look at that LCD screen, all very small, gives you a nice bit of information there. Sounds absolutely great. And is it going to let me run with the side stand down? It is, yes. Let's just have a look at it with the lights running and the indicators. So there's your halogen bulbs and your indicator. There's your high beam. Great stuff. Oh, so there you go guys. Voge Rally 300. A great dual purpose bike at a good price. So we'll just walk round it, shall we? So decent weather protection, decent wind protection from that screen. You do sort of sit into the bike quite a bit, so you get a good bit of weather protection. The hand guards are nice. Suspension did impress me. I mean, they're kind of, you know, generic front forks, unbranded really by the look of it, but they work really well. These Timson tyres seem absolutely fine off-road. I like the way that it comes with all the engine bars and that as standard. All the welding looks pretty decent. Matte paint works nice. All the bodywork all fits nicely. Engine casings look decent. Off the side stand, it's very light, and it is very light as well to push around with a decent steering lock. And say, very good gearbox on this, quite impressed with that. Yeah, so actually that is better than I thought it would be. So it's a really nice bike to ride. Plenty of get up and go from low RPM for its single cylinder engine. Ideal just for sort of blatting around, short trips, bit of off-roading, bit of a do everything sort of bike really. Nice that it comes with the rear rack as well. Very comfortable seat, commanding position. So there you go guys. Rally 300, what do you think about that? Post your comments down below please. Don't forget to give me a like, share and subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch you again in another week or so for another review. Take care guys, ride safe, and bye for now.